let me address a bunch of that stuff. So I think, look, when you say okay, so like I'm a libertarian and I believe in freedom, and government should, if it exists at all, only be there to protect property and natural rights. So look, if you were to say, like, let's compare the United States of America to Saddam Hussein's Iraq, which society would I rather live in? Which society do I think is more moral? Which government, was less oppressive? Okay, obviously the answer is the United States of America, or at least to its own people. We're probably a lot more oppressive to other countries, but that's totally irrelevant to whether I'd have solidarity with George W. Bush and Dick Cheney. The question is, who's right in this conflict? Were you justified in invading and destroying and killing 1 million people there? And the answer is no. And
foreign journalists were invited to watch a 43-minute compilation of the bloodshed. Some of the images, like this attack on a kibbutz called Be'eri, have already been widely seen. Other footage will probably never be made public, as it's far too distressing. More than 1,400 people were killed and over 200 taken hostage in the...
Tell me what would happen to Mexico if they did this and then hid with American hostages under houses in Mexico?
Now, as far as the rest of your characterization of Israel, I think it's totally unfair and not in line with the history, and it's kind of circular reasoning. Like, you're like, well, but don't Israel's the good guy, so how come you don't support the good guy? Wouldn't you be more sympathetic to them because they're the good guy? It's like, well, no, but look, Israel is not a Western democracy. They're just not. And they don't get to play this card anymore. Israel took control of the West Bank and Gaza in 1967.
In 1967, there was no such thing as Palestine. Gaza was part of Egypt, and the West Bank was part of Jordan. No Arab living there called himself Palestinian then. Israel occupied those areas after the Arab countries attacked it. Now, just for your information, Palestine is a word of the European occupier. There is no P in Arabic.
And none of the people in those territories have any voting rights whatsoever.
The Arab Party in Israel. Israeli Arabs vote in elections. Khaled Kabab, Muslim, is an Israeli Arab who serves as a justice in the Supreme Court of Israel. In the West Bank, they have elections for their own government. So they are not part of Israel, and therefore they do not elect in Israel. Hamas, running under the name Change and Reform, won a majority of seats in the Palestinian Legislative Council, PLC, in Gaza, securing 74 out of 132 seats. Fatah, the traditionally dominant party, received 45 seats. So when they attacked Israel, it was a foreign regime attacking, and anywhere in the world it is a declaration of war.
By the way, I'm not that into democracy.
And that's exactly the point. You support terrorism, as far as you're concerned. As long as you're considered weak according to your ideology, you can murder and rape and you're still the victim. It doesn't matter if you have your own government. According to what you believe in, you have the right to murder to take from someone else if you think they are in a better situation than you.
My beef is that they have no natural rights whatsoever.
They are not Israeli citizens. They do not want to be Israeli citizens. What rights are you talking about? Israel still let them work and make money in Israel, and they murdered every Jew who came to their territory. Are you a retard who doesn't know what he is talking about, or are you lying to everyone? You decide.
But you don't get to just hold 5 million people captive for nearly 60 years.
In November, construction crews began working on a raised strip of land some 200 meters away from the fence dividing Egypt from the Gaza Strip. It's now 3.5 kilometers long. That brings the total length of the earth barrier to some 14 kilometers. We understand Egypt is also building a new concrete wall along the old border wall.
Messages. One, no displacement. People will not be allowed to go to Sinai. And the other important message comes to the Philadelphia, and when it comes to the procedures that Egyptians are following, it's obvious that they don't want to have any Palestinian going to Sinai so far.
It's amazing how you always talk about prison. You hide the fact that Gaza has a border with Egypt and the Egyptians never let them cross the border or even work permits in Egypt like the Israelis did. What prison has an opening for another regime? Why didn't a Muslim country didn't want them to working there? You know that peace with Egypt almost collapsed because Israel wanted to give them Gaza with Sinai and they didn't want Gaza.
The fact is,
Clearly, the facts say otherwise.
You didn't say a single fact in this entire video as we saw.
and it's not because they are just all possessed by evil and Jew hatred.
Do you think the Jews should be expelled from Palestine?
I do, from my opinion, because it's our country. Yeah.
Okay, I'm talking about also from the Israel side, like meaning, yeah, from like Tel Aviv, from Haifa.
Yeah, sure.
Yes?
All Palestine is ours.
Okay, what do you think?
Yes. For Jews as religion or Zionism?
The question is Jews.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's our land.
Are they allowed to buy property?
Travelers.
Are they allowed to buy property, like to
No.
buy a house?
No, they can't.
Because they are going to be owners.
Yeah.
And
They're going
we
to be
are
what?
the real owners.
Oh, they're owners.
Land.
Oh.
They can't be that because this land can't be like by them.
When Palestinians get back Palestine of 1948, which is today Israel, what happens to the Israelis?
Okay, السؤال هو when or if
Either one, it's fine.
إذا أو لما الفلسطينيين بيسترجعوا أو فلسطين 48 شو بيصير في الإسرائيلية؟
الإسرائيلية أكيد رح يتدمروا لأنه فلسطين مش من حقهم.
For sure the Israelis will be destroyed because Palestine is not their right.
Destroyed as in killed?
بتدمروا يعني
يقتلوا
يقتلوا.
أكيد لازم يقتلوا.
They should be killed, yes.
القوة لا يستردوا بالقوة.
So who can stay once they take Palestine?
اللي مسموح منها اليهود اليوم.
No Jews?
شو انه اللي بدك تسمح لهم يظلوا هنا اليوم. Not one Jew.
Not one Jew, even the ones who were here before 1948.
حتى اللي بكوا هنا قبل 48.
حتى اللي بكوا قبل 56.
What?
Yeah, even before.
You haven't told a single truth this whole time. You probably believe that the people who listen to you are too stupid to check what you say. But that's what I'm here for. To show everyone how you constantly lie.